cool. Hey, Moray, thank you for joining me. All right. Shit. Ooh. You're going to dig this. Okay. Finish my stuff up. Because I need these tonight. All right. Made in Nepal. Wow. It's cold outside for one, and my neighbors might have to work tomorrow, so I'm not going to make too much noise. I'm not going to bring my drums out. So just giving you those full moon vibrations because the full moon came in at 2 some this afternoon, and still going because generally you get 3 days before, 3 days after. So I send out the full moon energy. This is Argonite, which I just put in the vibration. I'll send you those vibrations as well and hope you can work with it. But this is the Chocolate Mountain Show. I am your host, Edwin is Timeless. It all started with a gentle sadness. I am the holder of the continuous ball game of the Hero Twins. I am your galactic daddy-o, sitting on my galactic patio from Minnesota to the universe. And our commercial tonight is Southern Comfort. When you need to be comforted in the South. So pop them if you got them, smoke them if you want them. Mo Ray, thank you for coming in. Derek 405, Rocky, Islam, YT 0101, 0101. Peace be unto you. What am I doing that for? It is the full moon tonight, baby. I always give sounds out. And sounds is a way of you can ward off bad and you can bring in good. So that's why I'm doing that for. I ain't got an answer to you, but I'm gonna give you that niceness. Yo, how are you, James? PJ, what's happening? We back at it. Definitely, Valerie. Overstand, what's happening? See, vote up now. Y'all better made money today. Y'all better made money today. Let's start with Gonzaga covered under. Gonzaga covered and they was under today. So made money there. They covered and they was under, which I predicted. Next game, Michigan blasted Florida State. Covered, because remember, it was only 2. They covered, and they covered, and it was under. It was under. UCLA, Alabama did not cover. Alabama did not cover. And UCLA won. They were over. I was looking at some games and I was like, maybe they're going to sneak in one. That game they made over UCLA with Alabama losing. And then the last game, USC and Oregon, was pretty much a blowout. The over-under was 138. USC covered with the -2. So it was under. So one game they basically did the same script except one game. And that's what I was looking at yesterday. I'm like, it looks like one of these games they're not going to cover. And sure enough, we did have only one. So hope everybody made money today. Damn Alabama. I don't know. That's why when I did, let me see where I'm at. I never really liked them. I definitely thought if Ohio State could have survived, definitely Illinois would have ran through them. But and so U of M is playing UCLA, which is going to in the conference final. Yeah, Alabama lost to UCLA. UCLA will play Michigan. That should be an easy win for Michigan. And Gonzaga, I'm still there. I'm really good because Gonzaga is going to go, and I think Michigan is going to make it. I put Michigan in the finals, which is interesting. That's interesting to see. Of course, I'm busted on the other side, but long as Michigan makes it to the Final Four and Zag, I'm 2 out of 4 in the Final Four. So we'll see. We'll see. But today was kind of pitiful. I mean, you can see when they don't turn the basket on. You can see that. I mean, that's what. Let me get this damn paper away from that burden thing. I got these books over here, but that burden paper. Okay, it's going on my book too much. Another book. I don't really want to go into cat's food either. There we go. I can sweep it off the floor. So that's where we stood. One game, and that's what I kind of predicted. That one game seemed like it was going to go over, and that's where we are. So those of you who follow, but today was a prime example of bad calls or no calls. It was a lot of no calls, but they kind of hosed Alabama. They switched the ball because they said you have to listen to the commentators, because they listen to the commentators, and the commentators like, oh, we think it hit his clothes. Clothes ain't you. I looked up that statue. Clothes are not you. And they gave him the ball, and that wasn't the deciding play. But it just was. And you saw the poor shooting, and like the dude I showed from Alabama, or no, not from Alabama, from what team was that? The guy from USC, the 7-point a game average this season. He averaged like 6 tenths more. This dude hits 4 threes, gets 20 plus points. Just out the blue. He exceeds his abilities. And that's what I was saying with Jensen, with that Villanova team that took down Patrick Ewing in Georgetown. How do you exceed your abilities that much? It's not natural. And you see where they help them with basket manipulation. Okay. Oh, that's okay. All right. Take care of those later. So, Quinley is a bitch. Hey, what's up, Tiger Strong? Hey, Jay. All biz, what's happening? I knew they would hear the commentators when they kept repeating. Exactly. And they listened to them. They talking to NCAA headquarters. Man, them dudes is listening. The commentators is talking, and then they got somebody listening to the commentators, and it's all. But you saw a prime example of when they turn the rims off. When they turn the rims off. And let me see. Let me get this. Let me see if I can get this in here. Is this it? No, it's not it. But you can just see when they turn the rims off for people. And a lot of times it will be like one side or the other. It'll be one side or the other where they turn the rims off. Where you see. And I see where Tiger Strong gave me a comment. Yeah. Where's my guy at though? Edward. Yeah, I think it was Edward. Edward wrote me some stuff, and he's so right. It's like you just see how bad it can get. And when they turn one off for one team and turn it on for the other team. So, and the one I showed when it hangs on the basket, I mean, come on, you define whatever this is. I really a big gravity believer, but whatever this is, it defies it. So that was just like ridiculous out of ridiculous. And that's the whole point. I mean, we see the system, but as I said before, everybody should know they're using the pro system. They're not using the normal college system. They are using the pro system because, again, Indianapolis, one of them is, one of the sites is where the Pacers play. So they're using the NBA system. You can see with the rolling that's the NBA system. You notice the long shots aren't going in as loud. When they use the college system, it's a lot louder, which it doesn't surprise me because they are at an NBA site. So they are using the NBA system, which is interesting because the college system is a cheaper system. Sounds different. And guys, this is with Shungite powder. This is 90 grams, maybe. He wrote something on here. Now, what's interesting is I think they sent this because it didn't have a Russian address. Last time I sent from this company, they gave me a Russian address. I think they found it was smoother to work with an American company, and send it to them, and then they send it to us off. Because it took me about 3 weeks to get this. But what I'm going to do is make a paste out of this, and I'm going to make a light paste and actually just use it on certain spots. Put a little lotion with it and use it on certain sore spots. But then I'm going to get some CBD oil and do that, work with that. I know somebody that actually makes THC oil. I'm going to find them and mix this with that. And this is pure powdered Shungite powder. So the company is back open. I think I hit people to their site, and I'm going to get some more because he just sent me. So I get so much off if I buy some more, and I'm going to get some more, but I'm really going to work with this, make a putty that I can use over and over again. Hopefully I can make like a putty, get it constituted enough where I can put it on there and then put it in something to keep it kind of moist. But this is the powder, and that's what it looks like. Surprised nobody says the shit looks like black tar heroin. This would be a lot. This would be if you had this much black tar heroin, you'd be sitting on some thousands. May they take the vape oil. They make THC vape oil. Yeah, of course they do. That's the carts. You get the little carts. I took my thing back yet, but you get the little carts. Yeah, they make THC vape oil. Rocky, they got a website. Yeah. Let me see. Might be. I gave it out last night. Maybe you missed it. And I tell you, when COVID first hit, they wasn't selling shit. They closed down because he was just saying, because it took me a minute to get the other stuff. Let's see where he put the stuff. Oh, he just sent me a message. Why ain't it pop up? Just Cadillacs is popping up. Let's see my other stuff. It'll be in here somewhere. Y'all heard that song? Is that my Bessie and a Tessie? Oh, okay. I think this is them. Because it's Tovov. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So it's I put it in. I put it in yesterday. Yeah, it's on eBay. It's SHUNGITE. Is that right? Shungite. Yeah, that's it. She put it in there for me. Yep, that's it right there. You put in that last name, it'll come, because he's got a Shungite Tovo. But yeah, Shungite, yeah, that's it. And he got the bracelets, he got the real stuff, and he has the real purifying water too. So, and this stuff was only, I don't even think 10, 11 bucks, not something like that. Now it's probably less than that, not very expensive. But that's how you would do that. Now, I don't have my big jug, all my jugs out there, and I'm not sticking my hand in the water I'm drinking. But he has Royal Shungite, but he has the water purifier too, which you can take any kind of water. Like he doesn't just, like I purify the bottled water I get, but you can purify kind of any kind of water. And so if you just deal with tap water, you can leave it for a couple days and get these stones, and the stones it'll make the stones. It'll make, see, the purer the water almost has a soft taste. Like this water here that I've treated, it has a soft taste to it. Whereas you get the water out the sink, it's more of a harsh taste. Like the water out here tastes nastier. I call the water in Minneapolis the Mississippi water because they pretty much getting their water from the Mississippi River. That water tastes better than this water out here. This water out here is horrible. I don't know about their water treatment plant, but this water is the tap water. I got to take showers in it. That was the biggest thing I hated about breaking up, that I had to move somewhere with hard water. And this shit be on your skin, drying your skin off. You got to have certain kind of soaps. So he has nice variety. And I think just the way he's doing it now, he tapped into somebody, because it came out of the East Coast. So I think he's working with someone where they're like working with them. I'm kind of disappointed in a way, because I like getting all the stamps from Russia and stuff, but I understand it's probably more efficient for everybody around. It's probably more efficient. So I imagine he sent her so much, she weighed it out and then sent it to me like, hey, send me a half a key of that Shungite powder, buddy. Oh, okay. And here's I know this is nothing, but again, if you want to see the normal stones, that is what Shungite looks like. And something this small, you can put on your Himalayan salt lamp. It will be efficient. Now, let me say this. Damn, I had a stomach ache like all last night. Yeah, it's kind of messed up. So it's like this. I was meditating, and I'm like, oh, it's just my soul, like right here, just hurt. It was really sore. And so I took on a little more than what I should have, but the ancestors visited me and like, don't do that shit again. They really told me, don't do that shit again. Because, and I know this may sound bizarre, but they was like, what if you disappeared on camera? They'd been knocking on your door today. And they said, worse. What if somebody else would have disappeared? That would have been on me. They did kind of have a point about that. So I'm going to have to not go so low. I think that's kind of what they said. The other stuff seems to be fine. And so, but it did kind of, I think people went on a ride with me, and I just took on a little more than what I thought. So, but thank you for the ones that hung with me. I mean, that was quite a surprise. It took a little more energy than what I thought. But that's how they came to me. It was like, yeah, you disappear on camera, yeah, you got a lot of explaining to do. So they got a point there. So we'll do other exercise. I like that people can see the hallways and the ribbons. That's, I was saying lines. The things on the sides time is more like a ribbon on each side of you. It's like a ribbon. So I'm glad people are starting to at least see that. And that's how you move. That's how you move. And that's how the Tsar world, and it's all tied up. And see, that's the thing with the ethers and the astros. They're not really tied up to time like the Tsar situation is, because the Tsar opens it up, because again, you can possess someone, and that's what Quantum Leap was and showed you. You can possess people in the past. See, the ethers and the astros ain't really with that. It's not for that. I'm saying it to do that is a lot more complicated. So disappear on camera. I know I didn't. Definitely dial it back. Yeah, so that's what they're saying. They're saying just do the things with the hallway, but would you mind if reincarnation was repeated cycle for eternity? Even if it's not true, let's say it. Would you mind? Yeah, because I think you would ask before, woke, what you're facing is a repeat. And so say you live to be 80 years old and you done figured everything out. Well, if you come back, you got to start all over again. And so that's what it's going to make you do. See, this is how kind of wicked the system is in a way. So the system sees how much you know, and it's going to make you do it over again. And so you may get a little further on the next time, or you may get less. And so it's just, you're on repeat. And so that's burning up spiritual energy in a way, because you are putting yourself on a repeat. So now I wouldn't dig that. Oh, okay. Thank you, PJ. Yeah, I stopped from spitting on the floor because that's what I wanted to do. I just wanted to spit. It really hurt here, and it just and I've been going through, I've been sick kind of too and getting over it. So, but thank you. That was kind of you to ask. I appreciate that. Hey, Lorenzo, but thank you very much, PJ, for your concern. So we won't go quantum for a while, but we can still just go down the hallways. That's kind of seems like where they say it's okay. So what can I say? I mean, there's nothing I could say. Is sometime you got to listen. So But I just wanted people to see a different side of things. And so that's all. That's my intention, was just to see a different side of things. But I admit I didn't look at those other possibilities. And you have to kind of consider other possibilities. Like I was saying, when I took everybody on a buffalo hunt. And buffalo aren't really on the East Coast like that. So it's a kind of a rare occurrence. And that's kind of why I liked it, because it was like a very rare occurrence from that area. But again, as I had Turtle Gang join, again, it was without his permission. And just this is the thing, just because you are strong enough to do something sometimes doesn't necessarily mean you should. So I just got over a cold too. No C word. No, I didn't have that. I just, like I said before, my daughter seems to be, when she gets a little something, I get a little something. Her mother had a respiratory infection, and it seemed to went through her and gave me and Keelan both had it. Me and City, we both had it. So I'm still kind of getting over it, but I'm better. But it's just, man, yeah, it just really made it felt like I had did sit-ups. You know how you get that soreness in your stomach? That's what I felt almost all night. That's what I felt all night. I felt just that soreness, like right in here, like just right in here was sore. So better today, but it's just funny because I always work that area, and I did it today, and it was like a big soreness from just trying to work, and I was like, oh, I forgot that's so we'll work on other things. We'll work on other things. So that's all right. That's all right. We live and we learn. And so that's like, it's funny. Tomorrow's going to be 70 plus degrees today. Today was about 45, but sunny, nice. When that sun went down, it's about 34 degrees right now. It got cold. I mean, it really got cold. I just had to pick City up. It brought him here last half hour. And it was chilly. I wore this out. So it was chilly. And my daughter went to play with some friends, even though it was my supposed time, my parenting time. I'm not tripping off that, because she wanted to play with a friend, and I ain't tripping. It's like, sit here and watch basketball with me, or watch the computer, watch the tablet, or go play with her friends and be outside all day. I'm flexible enough to, like, go ahead. So basically, you led a visualization to exercise with the folks in the chat and got heavy, and someone could die in the Matrix and be comatose in real life. No, 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 no. It wasn't. No, it wasn't that. The thing is okay. So, like, I'll use me for an example, and this would apply to anybody that hung with me the whole time. The people that hung with me the whole time. So if you see me start to even phase, like if you see me start to phase, other people could be phasing as well. Now, if you see me disappear, it doesn't mean I'm not going to come back, but I'm saying I would disappear. And those that were kind of riding with me, I was vibing so high to try to do everything. Someone else could be in that same situation where you could be sitting in front of somebody. Like, say you watching me now, and it's your wife, whoever, the children's around you. It's late, so I doubt a lot of children is up. But my point is you could have when I went quantum, you could have went quantum as well. And so you got people that say somebody's sitting in the room, or two people listening, or say just you listening to this, and somebody's sitting over there, and then you disappear. So not that you're not going to come back, but I'm saying until the time I released and came back, you would have like. And so how would the person think? The person sitting there is like, you were sitting there and you disappeared. What happened? So what I'm saying is that was reckless on my part. I didn't consider that. I figured like, I didn't think that I would phase. Maybe that's what I looked at. I said I might phase at the most. And that's not really going to draw a lot of attention, because I do this all the time. I hit my knee on the computer, and the computer moves all the time. So I thought, well, if I phase, that's okay, because I'm doing this with my knee most of the time anyway. Just to get comfortable with my hurt leg, I kind of have to, the way I'm sitting, I always bump the table, and you see the computer moving. But the people that could really vibe with me almost like a coattail thing. It's like it's room. It was like I was expanding so much energy that it would have been room for that. And that is, even though people agreed to go, they wouldn't have agreed for that. That's my point. They wouldn't have agreed for that. And then how do you explain that to anybody? You know, how would you explain that? I'm sitting next to my spouse is watching this video, and then my spouse disappears. I mean, how do you explain that? They're gonna, hey, calling NASA, hey, there's something happened last night. This guy disappeared, and I think my husband disappeared. He's back now, and we need an explanation. That's how it goes. I mean, that's just how people would respond to it. So, is there anything special you have to do to be able to manifest anything you want using your mind, imagination? Let me read it again. Is there anything special you have to do to be able to manifest anything you want using your mind, imagination, or is it as simple as visualizing what you want? Well, again, one thing keep in mind is like when with harmonizers, generally your right hand brings in, your left hand pushes out. Well, when you're talking about manifesting, and just like I say about driving, to drive perfect, sometimes somebody else has to get stopped. That's just the way it works. When you use your magic and you avoid them, sometimes you'll see other people getting pulled over instead of you, but it's on your path. If you follow me, it is on your path. And so people will get pulled over. To totally manifest, like you're saying, just even success and abundance, you have to have that kind of exhaust. So you have to set the bad intention somewhere. You have to set up something where the things that you don't want to manifest will go. And that's called an exhaust. And luckily, that's what the magicians gave us. I really did never understand how that thing worked, but the magicians showed it. So you have to aim the bad manifestation, the bad luck. You have to put that somewhere. So what I do is in my doorway, I have things rotating that shit up out of here. They're cutting it. And that's kind of how you could do it in a way. But you have to have something that is aimed where that energy, because energy is going to come regardless. So you're going to get hit with, because you're saying you're bringing in, because manifesting means you're bringing in. And so both things are going to come in. It's just you want the bad shit to go somewhere else. So that's how you would set it up. And so you have an aim where you want that shit to go. Again, the easiest way I can explain is on your path of driving, you see somebody else get pulled over. And the thing that shows you is your timing is you drive by it. You drive by it. So that was your path. And that was a possibility. They could have been you. But because your magic is working, somebody else got pulled over. So where is that? So that's how you would have to do it. That's how you manifest. You have to remember it's coming in and going out, coming in and going out. And so what you want to do is almost like, I want to catch this, but let that go over there. Just remember that when you manifest, remember that part of manifesting. You want something like, even if you won the lottery, so you caught it, you got to have somewhere where the shit that could be fucked up when winning the lottery. People suing you, people trying to run into your cars. I mean, all kind of stuff like that. You have to set up something where that goes. Because once you caught this, stuff is still coming in. And there's a lot of different ways that you could protect yourself. But just consider that. Consider both parts of it. Because bringing in, you're asking things to come in. But it takes time and practice. I mean, you have to be serious about all this. Like what I do is I'm serious about all this. I don't just make this noise and stuff. Like normally, like last night, I had to sit. I knew I had to. I was like with this stomach ache. I knew I had to meditate. And normally, it's just my practice after kind of winding down doing this. I normally meditate anyway. So I practice this all the time. Constantly. I'll just be laying there trying to take a nap and my stuff would just blow open. It's like, oh, okay. And I have to check it out and see why it blew open.
So that's all. But you can do it. You can do it. When your daughter's mama got sick, when she had your daughter, did you get sick too? It's funny. No, I really didn't. I'll tell you what I did do. Now, my daughter's mother is a kind of chunky girl. She's lost weight, but she's was kind of a chunky girl. And the heaviest I ever weighed was when my daughter was born. I weighed 280 pounds. When she got pregnant, I weighed 280 pounds. I'm normally like after I quit playing football and just started hooping, I still was hooping at 235, 240. And so it just didn't seem to take my strength or quickness stayed. Now, but normally I like to be about 235 when I hooped. But I got up to 280. I got up to 280. So I never got sick, but I did gain weight like a motherfucker. I was 280. I went in that office and it was 281. I've never weighed that much. And my blood pressure, nothing wasn't that high. But when I first moved in this place, I lost about 40 pounds. Just really stopped eating, started eating better, walking, working out, and so was able to lose 40 pounds. So I'm still about 240 now. Yep. So no, I never did get sick, but I did gain weight. When she was pregnant, yeah, I never got sick. I never got sick. I understand what you're saying because some people do. Some people do. But that was the first time I ever gained that much weight. I never gained weight like that before. And I gained a lot of weight. So it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the same thing. But she threw up all the time. We would go out to eat, and before we walk in a restaurant, she'd go to the front of the car and just puke and like wipe her mouth, spray, and like, okay, I'm ready to go. But she puked like that all the time. We'd just be driving, I'd have to pull over so she could puke. So yeah, my youngest daughter, she puked a lot. She puked a lot. So Rocky, I hope I answered your question. Yep. And it's for people if people want to join or not. Again, we're gonna scale back to just the ribbons of time and just understanding the hallway. So that's I'll just practice that one instead. Because as I mentioned, just because you have abilities doesn't always mean you have to do it. I was trying to work something out and didn't work everything out. It's almost like a scientist putting a whole formula together. It was part of the formula I didn't put together. So I was at fault. And I apologize to everybody because I was at fault. So I apologize. I took it too far. I don't even remember my question. What you said about the visualization. You got to sound like me. But tomorrow here is going to be beautiful in the 70s. This is how funny it is. Tomorrow is supposed to be like 73. Tuesday is supposed to snow. Where else can you get that? One day it's hot and everybody's in shorts. The next day you're busting your winter coats back out. I done put my Uggs up. I done put my Timbs up. So hopefully I got a pair of waterproof Nike boots. So I kept those out just in case. So we'll see. But it seems like we're going to have a decent spell. I went and my mother tree I have here, the oldest tree in this whole area, at least my area. I went and talked to it, and it's buddy. It's like getting ready to eat all that sun coming tomorrow. Now I have two trees in front of my house. They always wait late. But the big mother tree, she's like, you gave me a little sun. And it's times it's iced and it kills a lot of her buds, but she got so many that she ready when she wants to get them feeders, because I showed you that the trees have woken up, that she's woken up. And let me tell you, like, there's a knot repair where she repaired herself. I don't know how the damage came, but I'm able to tap in. And this is what's interesting. So I tap into the mother tree and I'm kind of talking to her, and my cadence is I'm hitting her kind of fast. And she was like, slow down. I just woke up. Slow down. It was interesting that came in. It was like, you remember, I'm just waking up, so slow down. And so it was a nice little message, like, just slow down. I'm just waking up. And I was like, okay. But it was nice. She gave me a couple of beautiful fractals. And, it's something I do often, when the weather's, it's not snow up to my knees back there, I can go up. In the summertime, there's a little knot where I can just kind of sit back and just lay back on her, and it's a place she put for me. She's gave me, I told this, well, maybe I've been on this channel. She gave me a couple gifts. I have made some wands. And last summer, I've noticed, I always notice how many squirrels, like this year was only one young squirrel that lived in a tree, for the winter. And so it was just one. So I always would thank her for doing that for the local squirrels. But it was always a dead branch up there that I always noticed. And this thing is about 12 feet. It's about 12 feet. And I just always noticed it. And one day she gifted it to me. So I have a box. I have one wand in my house that I need to work on, get some sandpaper and work on. But I have three other, and I have about a 12-foot piece it's aged. It's aged. It's years old. It's been hanging up there for years. But she gifted it to me, which is really cool. So my wand is so big. So I've got to put some crystals on it and work with it. Do you think about ibogaine? Alabama's the bipolar. Alabama's that bipolar weather. Hey, Wynn, do you think about ibogaine? What is that? Ibogaine? I'm not sure what that is. Am I reading it wrong? I'm not sure what that is. Is that? Oh, right here. Oh, okay. Oh, all right. No, I have never taken that. Man, this got the formula. This has got the formula, the molar mass, the chemical spider ID, the boiling point. They tell you how to get it. No, I have not thought about that. Thank you. What do I think about it? I've never really even heard of this. This must be very similar to mushrooms, just reading it. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking it's like magic mushrooms. Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen took the pictures. He's usually catching weirdos. Mexico, Thomas Kingswood did a study. Treatment of opioid use disorder with it as a distoxin. Sounds like creatine too. It's an alkaloid. Wow. Naturally occurring in the West African shrub ibogaga. While ibogaine is mild stimulant in small doses and larger doses, it induces a profound psychedelic state. Historically, it's been used in healing ceremonies and initiations by members of the Bwati region in various parts of West Africa. Wow, thank you. No, I've never tried it. It's a psychedelic. They say if you take one time, it can cure any addiction. Sounds like creatine. Creatine's kind of like that. It is ibogaine and pain numbing catters. Rub. Oh, you can get into a rub. Okay. Like kratom. Yeah, that's why it sounds like kratom. Okay. Now my brother, he uses kratom a lot, and he swears by it. And I said this last night too. When I have to start taking tramadol, I'll probably have to use that to wane me off, because once you mess with addictive opiates like tramadol, and even though it's not that strong like others, still it has that restless feeling, and that's a terrible feeling because you can't lay down. Because when you lay down, like they say, a restless leg, it gives you restless body. Your body feels like it has to keep doing this. It unbalances you so much that you literally just toss and turn all night. You just have to follow that energy, because even if you don't turn, you're feeling like it's making you turn. So, yeah. I haven't tried it. Call him Chris Hampton in the Boondocks. I know. That's what it said. It said photo by Chris Hansen. I was like, I read somewhere where Chris Hansen ran into the crazy dude that was not the toss my salad dude, but the other dude that the Boondocks made fun of. The guy that supposedly raped 50 to 80 people in prison. That dude, that guy, a man's butt. Remember he said that? He said Chris Hansen met him. That's the funny shit, weirdo and shit, and think they talking to somebody, and they actually go there and be in the motherfucking house and shit, and be like with it. Remember, one dude had some video games. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna play video games with a young dude. And remember the Arnold, when they did the Arnold show with what was his name, Dudley, And he's like, take your shirt off, Dudley. I mean, I was never like, would have been like looking at the dude like, take my goddamn shirt off at any age, other than my parents. Any other that, I'm like, weirdo. I'm not taking my goddamn shirt off. Nor would I have left my boy. I've been like, fuck him or her, let's go. It is ibuprofen and pain numbing. Oh, okay. She said, disregarded. Okay. The booty warrior. There you go. Said I was reading some shit that said Chris Hansen like hooked up with the booty warrior. A man's butt. When they sag, we think that's sexy. It is just amazing. And the internet, it's funny. The internet catches it all. It catches it all. And they can replay that shit. Hey, normalize. Hey, they used to try and make you go shirts or skins, and my little fat ass wouldn't want to do that shit. Yeah, that annoyed me too. I never liked playing shirts and skins hooping. That annoyed the fuck out of me. It really did. Made me sweatier. Made the ball get sweatier because people catch it and it might hit their bodies. Yeah, I never liked that. Yeah, I never liked hooping shorts and shirts. I would just carry pennies. It got to a point where I would just carry pennies with me. Motherfuckers like, we'll wear these. We'll wear these instead of taking your shirt off. That's how I used to roll it. So, but I do hope you guys enjoyed the music, the little history of music and understanding of those times and how the times of music even relate to today. Because the music's not, even the vibration of the music can be so off. Songs that seem so catchy can be so harmful to us. Like I hear that Cardi B shit and, it's so catchy, but just like, you just got to turn your mind off that. Now, I haven't heard that little Nas X shit on the radio. I haven't heard it yet. So we'll see if it makes radio. Because videos ain't really, you watch MTV, they only for a few hours play videos now. Videos just ain't a thing. Remember, there was a bunch of channels like NBC used to show Friday night videos. Remember that? NBC would show videos. And I remember I'd rush home hoping I would hear Anita Baker singing, what was not Angel, but her first hit. I can't even think of, not Caught Up in the Rapture of Love. I can't think of it, but her first hit off that Anita album. I was hoping I could rush home and hear that. So it was great. I talked about it with my mom. Okay, Valerie. Yeah, music from your generation resonates with me. Well, that's cool. Sweet Love. Thank you, PJ. Yeah, Sweet Love. I would just rush home and hope I could see Anita sing Sweet Love, or even TBS or TNT, one of them, or USA. They played videos too, and I couldn't wait like in 85. Yeah, right before 86, 85, and hear Anita Baker sing Sweet Love. Yep. No One in the World, You Bring Me Joy. Oh, that whole album. That whole album. That whole album. I Want the Same Old Love. Remember that? Same Old Love. So that whole album is just tight. It's solid. Her whole album is solid. The Nas X, way too much. I clicked off it with 3 seconds and put it back in the. Then that with Eric Badu. Yeah, it's wicked. It's wicked. And like what Conscious Sister put on there, she like I didn't watch the Grammys or whatever that was. I didn't watch the Grammys. But when Nas, let this motherfucker use his identity to start his fame. But I noticed what he was wearing. I saw Little Nas top. And did y'all notice that the all black top? That was Hellraiser. That was Pinhead's coat. Did anybody else catch that? He was wearing Pinhead's coat. I don't know if everybody caught that, but look at Pinhead's coat and look at that coat that Nas X had. It had the way Pinhead had them straps here. That was Pinhead's coat. And I don't find Hellraiser. Hellraiser has a lot of good messages in it, but I'm just saying it and it's not. And I think Hellraiser would be under evil, probably under evil, not wicked. She's encouraging us as fans not to stream her music. They're not paying her right. Okay. Oh yeah. Anita. Yeah, Anita. That's right. Anita is. Anita's trying to get her. Anita's trying to get her masters. She's saying that the contracts ran out. She should be able to get them. Yeah, duality. Yep. How did it go from country theme to that devil shit? But I mean, the country song was Ride. Come on, the country song wasn't. They fooled people because he put Billy Ray Cyrus. He fooled people. But that was kind of some debauchery as well. These rappers actually gay, or do they just do it for the money and fame? I mean, he might have went in it not like that, but they'll paint you an image. Just like when you do a video, you have to do scenes. You have to do a storyboard, and that's what they show these dudes. Like I was saying with the contracts, the contract has you doing it. So, like, say you are on the verge where the contract will show you actually doing it. It will show you whatever your thing is, driving a car, whatever, performing. It will show you in that contract now, and you have to sign over that. So, but they'll give you a storyboard. They'll give you a storyboard and show you this is all it'll take, and you're signing kind of all this. And the storyboard will be you in it. It'll show you moving from point A, B, C, D, and so it's because all is revealed. So they reveal it to you, and dudes sign up. It's like, dudes sign up, and it's like a kind of thing where you can't, blood in, blood out. Once you in, you in. Got too big, so they told him to be gay. It was like that already, but I've been hearing about him this week. Sly had clips, how we broke down Ohio's for the name. Yeah, I saw that. I watched that too. I actually think was acting like he's gay. I don't know, because what happens is this is what you got to consider. Like with Magic Johnson, word got around, and Magic would be ready for anybody. He could get up for anybody. Word gets around. That excites some people. Here's a perfect example. Tyler Perry had to approach men as Madea. It's men that got turned on by Madea. It's men that got turned on by Madea. So he had to go up in there and perform as Madea for people. So that's how it is. So he's doing all this, that turns people on. And people ask him to get in character, whichever part turned them on the most. He'll have to get in character and go deal with them people. But you got, how tall is Tyler Perry? 6'4", 6'5"? Can you imagine? He had to go into places and serve people dressed like that. That's so got to consider that. That's something to consider. Don't tiger strike my cats. More than rocks. They just, when I walked in, they gave me
superpowers when I think so.
His views hit in 2 days. It took Moray like 4 or 5 weeks to get to that.
Talk about Lil Nas as well.
Somebody said it hit 20 million. Yep.
I saw him.
I saw some wicked shit.
The books are cold. I don't care.
What's that? Oh, the shoes.
Yeah, the shoes was raw as fuck.
They said $1,100. It's okay with playing and being gay, but I can see it tearing them up some of the inside. Well, of course. And when you have to start serving these people, however you serve them, because poking them is just as bad as receiving. I mean,
Did you like them?
I mean, it just looked like a pair of Macs, just a pair of red Macs.
No, they're black with the red air pockets.
Yeah.
They were 97s. The bitches were cold.
But they said $1,100.
Yeah, they got a drop of human blood in them.
Yeah, that's wicked. That's wicked. I mean, that take a lot of blood. That takes a lot of blood. I mean, it's supposed to be a drop in everyone. That's a hex. That's a hex too. That's a type of hex. So I wouldn't fuck with that.
Like a pentagram and a verse.
That ain't nothing. Pentagram don't mean nothing.
It was a verse from the Bible.
Yeah, that shit don't mean nothing.
He defeated the devil, or the devil defeated him, or some shit.
But yeah, of course it would tear you up.
The bitches were cold. I was looking at them. There were some 97s.
I think that was the color where they came out too, when they originally came out.
No, these ones are all black with the red Max, the air pocket.
I saw the one that was red and black with the red air pocket, but it was red and black on top. It wasn't.
You think it has to have real blood in there to be false advertisement?
where you get the blood from. And it don't really tell what kind of blood. It's
No,
cow
it
blood.
said human blood.
It did say human blood?
Human blood.
That's vampirism. I couldn't fuck
And they
with
get
that.
sued for it if it wasn't.
Why people mad at him instead of Nike? Yeah, I'm mad at Nike as well. I agree.
I was on TikTok, right?
Okay.
And the dude that was like, yo, Lil Nas Soul to Soul or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Lil Nas duetted that and was just looking at the camera and laughing and shit.
I mean, the price of fame is hell. That's the price of fame. So they accept it. You sign up for it. Bedazzled shows you that. Bedazzled is a good example. It shows you that, what the price of fame is. So, I mean, again, you get the storyboards, show you your progression. The storyboards will show your progression, and then you sign up. You'll see the peak. You see the peak. And this is the thing, is how do you stay relevant after you peak? I mean, why do you think Tyler Perry is the position he's in today? You think that's just because he did everything? Now, his story is he went out there, was homeless in a car, and then he decided to sell plays to churches. But to make movies, yeah, that takes a little more, everybody. It takes a little more. Why would anyone sign up for hell? That's a good thing, but it's like riches. What's Bedazzled? Bedazzled is a movie with Brendan Fraser. They make fun of because he wants to be a dope dealer, but he becomes a dope dealer that finds out his wife is cheating with one of his flunkies, and then he gets raided. He wants to be a pro basketball player, and this was a thing in Shaq. He was a 7-foot star pro basketball player. They kind of made fun of two people, because there was another dude. I was trying to remember who the sweaty dude was, but then there was the 7-footer that was only like this big but 7 foot. That was a dig at Shaq. So she granted him everything he wanted, but it wasn't perfect. That's the point. It wasn't perfect. And see, what people are missing is the not perfect is hell. Now, it may seem mild, but the not perfect was actually hell every time. Wife cheating on him, getting busted, being 7 foot, but not well endowed. All these kind of things. And it goes back to Damn Yankees. Damn Yankees, I think, was the first movie like that. Whatever Lola wants, Lola gets. I don't know, a lot of young people are going to want to watch Damn Yankees because there's a lot of goddamn singing. Matter of fact, a lot of high schools used to do the play because it comes from a Broadway play. Used to be a Broadway play. They turned into a movie. So, comedian, Camdecom. 1,100. That price make Jordans look like the cost that Asians get paid to make them. All that money. Yeah, all that money. They shamed Oregon. Yeah, they really did. But Oregon still wins because Nike and Jordan is still in every game. You notice that? Nike and Jordan still in every game. But yeah, they got beat pretty bad. Tyler Perry looked like Magic Johnson's older. Anyway, he does. Because Magic's son is tall. But like, it's funny, Evelyn that played college ball, she ain't that tall. I don't think Evelyn's tall as me. No, it's been a long time, 30-some years. I can't really remember how tall Evelyn was. I don't think Evelyn. Now, Magic did have some brothers. I mean, it was like 7 or 8 of them. And his dad was about 6'1". I think his dad was about my height, slightly taller. Because I've seen his dad a few times. Because one of my best friends lived by them. And I was better friends with Evelyn. I met Magic when I was in 8th grade the first time. I think he was 14. I was 12 first, because he handed out was playing a thing called YBL, and I was the MVP of my team, and he handed out the awards. He was handing the awards out. So we got to give him a dap. Movie said the devil was in a nightclub in Oakland. There you go. The Demontan, thank you for joining me. I thank you for joining me. So that's just what to consider with all that. And that's what people are faced with. And again, we are not, this is how, like, look at, it seems like, and when you rise like that, it is almost like yesterday, today. The ride can be that fast. I mean, again, Moray is probably riding a pretty high right now. He done got some big checks. 20 million views have probably put him, quite comfortable of some cheese, put him in there. And that ride seems, it's funny what's chosen, but when you put certain vibrations out there, people catch into it. You know how many songs are made daily that just be great songs, but people just ain't, people just don't pick up on them. It doesn't hit the right note. It doesn't resonate. And that's the good thing about not having to use record companies. But we know that, rapping is a very dangerous business. Jason has shown that. It is a very dangerous business. 103 rappers got killed last year. I think Jason said about 50 already this year. He didn't give the names, but it's been people already this year. And it's a very dangerous business. And then I hope Moray is putting the protection around him, quit being around motherfuckers, quit going into clubs, just chill with your family until this, ride the wave properly. Don't put yourself out there because people get really jealous. I know when Sly and them was talking about Rolexes and stuff, but there's some places you just can't watch Rolexes. You can't wear them, excuse me. Do you know how people that pay attention? You go to a broke area and you hanging around broke people and you wearing a watch like that, you know the type of attention it causes? Somebody will be around you think family will call somebody else and let's get him. Now, if you around people that got that kind of stuff, you ain't got to worry. But people will pay attention to you. Like you'll be wearing something like that. It may be covered up like this, and it may just pop out every once in a while. Broke people pay attention to that kind of stuff. That's why you see so much fake. That's why it's so much fake there in the world. Fake earrings look like diamonds, fake chains. Remember how when the rappers tried to switch everybody to platinum, and platinum ain't really ever been worth more than gold. It had a little spike when the rappers but platinum really is not worth more than gold. And so for a minute, but what it did, it had people buying silver, and then see people was presenting silver like it was platinum. They don't look the same. Platinum has a distinctive look, but that's my point is the illusion of looking like. And that's why for the average broke person to buy something that looked like what you see on TV, that was a good thing. Well, he wore this on TV. So you can dig it. 1, 2, 3, kind of dangerous to be MC. There you go. Hey, Barbara, thank you for joining me. And so that's just consider that. That's kind of how it is. But like it's a watch you can get. You can get $1 million watch and no one will know it's $1 million. That's how you Mac. You wearing this $1 million watch where a person look at it, they won't think nothing. Ain't no diamonds, ain't nothing in it. But it's one of the rarest motherfuckers in the world where only 4 or 5 of them made. And you can be around anybody. And it's $1 million. Average person looking at it would never know. It's some what do you say? I want to vodka ride and put it on my arm. Most people don't know. Most people see Rolex and think, or they see diamonds and wonder if the diamonds is real. But it's watches without diamonds that you could have that be worth. You could be sitting in somebody's house and your watch is worth more than the house, but it doesn't look like it. That's what macking is. That's real macking. That's real pimping, because you know how much it's worth. Nobody else will know, and it's in plain sight. Ain't nobody thirsty. So if you went around mugs, ain't nobody thirsty around you because they ain't even gonna pay attention to it. It ain't gonna catch anybody's eye. But you get to wearing that Rollie, it catches people's eye. So you got to beware. Beware of your circumstances and situations. He hit that shit. Heard his song on the radio the other day. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see them brand new J's on your feet. There you go. That's what I'm saying. No one knows who the real richest man in the world is. Exactly. The richest family. That's why they sent the false stuff of Illuminati. By the time the rapper put it in the song, that's to lead you to that. They ain't called that. They wasn't called that then. Like, look at the word mafia. The mafia is in Italy, in Sicily. Ain't no mafia in America. That's why when J. Edgar Hoover faced these motherfuckers, like the mafia, you talking about Costa Nostra. That's what's practiced in America, the syndicate, because you got to be Sicilian. Costa Nostra had a lot of Jewish faith people in them. Meyer Lansky, Bugsy Siegel, a lot of them cats was Jewish faith. Wasn't just Italian, Sicilian. So it wasn't the mafia. He was right. He tried to tell everybody, this ain't the mafia. He was right. They was like, go after the mafia. He said and told them, this ain't the mafia that we talking about. This is Costa Nostra. There you go, Valerie, Richard Mille. And people don't know what that is. Most people see a Richard Mille watch, won't even know. You could be around, you'd have to really be around, really keen aware. But just going around, nobody looking at that watch. You can get little cheap $200-$300 watches that are shaped like that one. Most of them come with a leather or rubber band. Don't attract no attention. But yet you got the most exclusive. And that's the Mac. That's the Joker. You sitting there clowning on everybody. You know, like my son talk about, you want to wear the belt and the belt show. But to me, that's the Mackin', where you got the baddest shit that's worth more than where you sitting. And only you know. And that's real control of your ego. That's real control of your ego. Because you don't need to feed the ego. You bought the shit to feed your ego, but it's not presented. It's not presented like your ego is out there. It's strategic. It's strategic macking, strategic pimping. It's like you can wear clothes that, comfortable. I mean, that's what the COVID showed us. You don't need to pay a lot of money for clothes. You just don't. Wear the shit you like. Now, the new Jordans, the only new Jordans worth buying is the current year. Them other ones, them, like my son say, the retros, them shoes ain't made like the shoes I used to hoop in. They're just not. The quality, the knockoffs used to be better than them. The ones they sell now, the knockoffs used to be better. They just aren't meant to hoop in. They're walk-round shoes. The last 2-3 years is the only ones that you really can hoop in. Some of them remakes, you can't hoop in them. They ain't made to be hooped in. They know most people buying them. Like you see all these women wearing Jordans. You know they ain't hooping in them. So they sell them like that. They don't put the full air zoom in them. I mean, you can just see how flat they are now. And women don't know. Women don't know. Women don't hoop. It's just Jordans to them. They don't really see that they're getting an inferior product. Women don't see that. That if you're not a sneakerhead, you wouldn't know. If you don't hoop, you wouldn't know. You just think you got Jordans and that's acceptable. So, that's kind of how they play people. People won't even know they get an inferior product because they just don't know what they're getting. But to them, they don't care. They don't care it's inferior. They just know it say Jordan on it. So, no one knows it because they all have the money in the world, but don't use money at all. There you go. The only true power is spiritual power. There you go, Mo. That's right. I stay wearing sweatpants and white tees. I like Levi's. That's what I like wearing. I've got a pair of, I do have a pair of Tommy's, but I have a pair of Brooks Brother jeans. That's probably was my most expensive jeans. I got a pair of jeans from Brooks Brothers. But I like Levi's. I'll pay $60, $80 for Levi's all day. I like wearing Levi's. That's just how I like to dress. Now, I love these Champion pants. I do. I love the Champion pants. I got a pair I got on now is a cheaper pair, but my other pair is thick, nice. I mean, this pair I'm wearing now is more of a spring, summer sweatpants. The other ones is more fall, winter sweatpants. Yeah, they gave the Illuminati shit out for, it's to put people down the rabbit hole. Interesting statement. Thank you, Lorenzo. They make them so they don't crease now. Yeah. The soul in the reverse flu game is 12s. Is a good one. I must admit, real comfortable. Okay. That's what I look for. It's got to be comfortable. But I have the inserts. I'm going to pick up my new pair. But I have my inserts, but it's just I try them. I go to the mall and try them shoes on, and the people that come to me is like, yeah, ain't nobody buying these. It's like I was saying, the people who stole the shoes in the riot was mostly women. Dudes didn't break into the Foot Locker. I mean, maybe later they did, but it was women that was looting. You know, that took all the little sizes and the children's size. It was mostly women. So that just shows you the thirst on something that like the guy who killed his child because his child did something to his Nikes. I told the story last week where my ex, I had the new Chris Webbers, and she got mad. And the only thing she felt would hurt me the way she was hurt was draw markers on my shoes. I put the shoes in the bag and kept hooping in them. People asked me what happened. I said, chick went crazy and drew markers on all of my shoes. He's like, but those was new. I'm like, well, that's what she felt, but they still hooped. They still hooped. So I did not care. And everybody would laugh because people after a while was like, yeah, your girl did that. Yeah, she did. But it didn't matter. It wasn't going to stop me from hooping in them. That's what she thought. She thought it would crush my ego. Well, damn, you just drew on my shoes. All this marker, I can't jump in them anymore. Like, you put marker on my shoes, now I can't even jump or shoot my J. My shit ain't gonna be wet because I'm got marker on my shoes. No, I just blew that shit out and said, okay, threw them in the bag anyway. She took them off the bag. She should have cut them up. That would have affected me more than draw a marker. If she'd have cut them up, that would have been a little different. But just to draw on them wasn't that big a deal. I didn't feel very devastated. My most expensive pair of jeans was Pelly's. I spent $70, $80. Okay. My buddy and I went to the club. He was wearing a tracksuit. I was wearing sweatpants. All the drug dealers women was looking at us. There you go. There you go. That's the real Mackin. That's real Mackin. We all wear Champion feelers like people wasn't getting bullied a few years ago. There you go. There you go. And like I said last night, with me back in Battle Creek, I wore the Oscar Robertson Royals jersey. You had the Royals, written down like that. And that was Champion. That's Champion. That was a champion. It had Magic. You could get Wilt. Those was all champions used to supply the NBA, but Champions is the oldest sweat pants company. It was like when I've always dressed like this since I played. Since I played football, it was times where it didn't make sense to get dressed. It was like we practice and then go eat and then practice or a game. I mean, it just didn't make sense. Now, when we traveled, we wore suits and stuff, of course, but just daily life, it was just so much easier knowing I got to practice later than sitting there and, wearing all these clothes into the locker room. And my locker room was like the Middle Ages locker room. My locker room in college was some Negro stuff. It was again, I played there 3 years. We never had hot water in where we dressed. Do you understand? Sometimes you get muddy. We would have to wear our football shit back to the dorm, take a shower at the dorm because we didn't have hot water in the building. I mean, it's supposed to have hot water. A couple times I took hot showers, but not consistently. And when you get so muddy, you got to wash all the equipment and shit too. I had a teammate, and this cat was rich, but he was nasty. This cat, he would never wash his football equipment, wouldn't wash his shoulder pads, wouldn't let them dry. He kept his shoulder pads inside. He ain't noticed we all kept our shoulder pads on top of the lockers because when I was in high school, we had vented lockers for football. Well, this is, black college in the late 70s, early 80s. So it was dungeon shit. I played in the locker room that my best friend's dad that played in the 50s, same locker room, same lockers and everything. So this shit was ancient. And this dude had some shit. Oh, he broke out with some nasty shit. Nasty shit. I mean, it turned green on his skin, but it came from him he would never wash any of his stuff. And it broke him out. Yeah. Kenny Wallace. He ended up being a Q. I met a cat here. He's like, Kenny. I'm like, yeah, I know Kenny. Kenny was driving around A&T with a vet because his daddy was a car dealer. So Kenny had a vet. K-Dog. They still hooped. Yeah. She didn't stop nothing. That's what made her mad. I put him in the bag and went to hoop with him. She said, I expected you to buy another pair. I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying another pair. Yeah, it was nasty. Kenny stuff. Oh, he had one on his arm and one on his leg. And we was like, Kenny, you're not going to wash this stuff? And after a while, I was like, screw you, you don't want to wash it. That's on you. And then that shit started growing on him and he started taking care of his stuff. So, yeah. But I I asked people, is it still there? People say it's still there. It's probably just an equipment room, and they didn't tear it down. That thing been there, well, 60 plus years. And I mean, this stuff, imagine my high school, when I went to high school, my high school was only 5 or 6 years old. My high school was built in 72 or 73. So I went to the high school at first in 77. So my high school, like now, my high school is what, 40, 48, 49 years old. Can you imagine that? It was practically, matter of fact, my cousin played there, where my cousin graduated from the old high school, but played basketball in the new high school. And now that high school is what? It was built in 73. So that high school is 49 years old, going on 50 years old. It's about time for them to build a new one. So it was, but compared to A&T, it was new shit. And shit at A&T was like, I don't know. It was like Stone Age shit. Like when they put us in the Scott Hall, it was like a dungeon compared to where we had been living. Like to wash clothes was definitely a dungeon. You was in the bottom of the pit of this old ass 60-year-old building, and it was like a pit. I remember my stepmother, my dad was like, you weren't responsible not washing your clothes. I was just buying new clothes. I'm like, fuck washing this shit. It's too much of a hassle. I got to sit down there for 2 or 3 hours in a dungeon. Bad lighting down there and shit. Like, hell no. I'd get girls to wash the shit. My ex-wife washed my shit a couple times. I know he was sour. Oh, yeah. He played defense. And did he travel as a freshman? Because that first year for him was Gold Bowl year. I think he was on the kickoff and shit. He was a little dude, too. He played outside linebacker, and he was a little guy. He was only, let me see. Kenny Wallace was 5'9", maybe 220. Not a big guy at all. Not like the linebackers, and he played outside linebacker. They normally got guys 6'2", 6'3". Because a lot of times in football, the best players be the linebackers. It'd be the outside linebackers. Inside linebackers tend to be bigger dudes, but outside linebackers tend to be some of the best athletes on the team. That's what I found as I've stayed around football. I've seen this, that they've tend to be the better athletes. They did both in high school. Yeah, but yeah, and then he gave some people the crabs. So it just nasty dude all the way around, you know. I remember he was in the locker room. He's picking that shit off, and somebody said, "Man, don't be doing that shit." And I'm like, "What the fuck did he do?" He's like, "Man, this dude picking crabs out." We put him out the locker room. Like, motherfucker, go see the doctor. Quit trying to spread this shit. So we picked him up, took his ass out the locker room. We didn't let him get his shit. I was like, go straight to the wherever it was called, little mini hospital on campus, that kind of shit. Yeah, it was Kenny. But he might have not. It was just the place was that for the times. Like the new stadium that's there now the stadium was brand new. My college stadium was brand new when I went there. I was the first people to play in it, and I caught the first pass in the stadium. Would have had the first touchdown if they wouldn't have called me out of bounds. Now the other end, I caught the first touchdown at that end. But we didn't. The locker room wasn't finished, so we went in there a couple of times, but it was never our locker room, never. And now that place is old. 40 years already. Time goes by quick. And Kenny wasn't killing the women. He had to be a Q before women started noticing. Football wasn't getting him the women. Even the vet wasn't getting him the women. And he wasn't a very handsome man, so. But he was cool. He was a brother from Boston, which was very odd to be. There's a lot of brothers from Philly, but it wasn't a lot of brothers from Boston down there. So that was kind of interesting. So he's kind of a square dude. So that surprised me when he joined Q. And it's interesting about the the boule and training. It's like you see dudes that's just the most humblest, non-quiet dudes, and then they go through that shit, and all of a sudden they all the way live. It's like you needed that. And I look at that as the same thing as dudes before they was cops. It was like people had to be cops to be tough. And I've told this story before. I remember telling the dude, I'm like, motherfucker, I knew you before. You wasn't tough. This made you tough. This stroked your ego. It's like, motherfucker, I've always been tough. Since I was a little boy, I was tough. Like I told the story. Ronnie beat me up, but I went and faced Ronnie again. And he beat me up again, but rest of our life, the motherfucker's like, shit, this motherfucker gonna keep fighting me every day. He knew it. My cousin, I was like that. It was like I wasn't. Once we started fighting, I wasn't gonna stop. Then he got on top of me, and he tried to run away quick, and his run away quick caught me with a kick to the face, kind of KO'd me. And I went in there crying to my uncle. My uncle's like, "You've been fighting for an hour. I've been watching." And I was like, "Yeah." He started fighting me, and then he kicked me in the head. He's like, "But you was fighting him too." There you go. I have noticed physical strength is a very spiritual thing in comparison to our attributes, thoughts. I noticed physical strength is a very spiritual thing. It can be. It can be. I mean, a lot of just exercise in general is part of the continuous ball game. Just exercise in general. And I know that may sound a little abstract, but it's like, think about when you were little and the first time you saw a ball. You had a ball, and more than likely you dropped it, and you had to move to go get it again. And again, football, the balls was discovered because they had extra rubber that was just laying there, and somebody threw it at somebody else. That's how it really started. So there was just extra rubber there. The children just started throwing the rubber at each other. Then all of a sudden, the children could catch the rubber. And then all of a sudden, you put a line between each other, and you stay on your side, and I'll stay on my side. I'll knee it to you, you knee it back. I'll hip it to you, you hip it back. I'll elbow it to you, you elbow it back. So that's why I say it's all kind of tied in. Exercise is tied into that. Same way with using the baskets and the gloves. You know, somebody just discovered that somebody threw the ball in the air, you could catch it in the basket. It's interesting to watch how it started. It started that like that. It was just the children was messing with the stuff because they had extra rubber, and the children just would mess with it and play with it. I mean, you know how old? I should bring the book out. You know, they have books. They have 3,000-year-old. I think 3,000-year-old balls that they found from the Omen. I think it's the balls are 3. I'll bring the book to. Well, I'll be hopefully during tomorrow day, but I'll bring the book I got out. And they've got balls that old, all different sizes. So working out can be very, very spiritual because it can be a lifetime thing. Like even with my 25-year-old, even my 30-year-old son, they've learned that working out can be a lifetime. It can be a healthy way. It can be a healthy way to live, to just work out, to lift, to breathe. I mean, just the breathing, that's one thing that becomes very spiritual when you want to lift and you trying to do another rep, you know, you're like, you're trying to put all that chi in it. Or even if you just running and you run on a treadmill or whatever, elliptical. I mean, you just, as you hit your peak and get tired, you just keep going. It's like running laps, and you've run a mile and you try to force yourself to run that extra mile. It's like shooting shots. You might shoot 100 and you make yourself shoot 200. So yeah, it becomes a spiritual thing. I mean, the beautiful thing about basketball, it's just a ball in you. And it's you can get into it. Like when I just shoot, I try to shoot sometime 100, sometime 50 when the weather's nice. And yeah, it can be very spiritual, working out. What I mean is no normal person would put 500 pounds over their back and squat or pick up 600 pounds off the floor. Yeah, exactly. I mean, but again, think about that, 600 pounds and how you have to give the right signals to your whole body. So when you deadlift it and you boom, do you know everything has to work for you? You know, some people get it here and break their legs, break arms. I mean, when you take that weight and bring it here, and then you got to bring it straight up. Do you know how much communication you have to have in your breathing, in your quick twitch muscles? I mean, it's a lot of communication going on. So it does become a very spiritual thing. Yeah, you do, because you can conquer it. You have to be a little nuts. Ronnie Coleman used to squat super heavy. Yeah, and like my roommate, I was saying, my old partner, he has a Guinness Book record for bench press. For a while, he was bench pressing 400 plus. 400 plus. He had one of the records at one time. And this P-Funk is only about 5'10", 220, pretty trim still, probably. year older than me, but yeah, at one time that mug could throw it up. As I was saying, with Hammerhead Pete, every 45 we had, and not only could he squat it, the damn bar was given. He's holding this bar on the back. Usually the weights be like this. That shit was like this, bent on his back. He had legs like just big muscular calves like this. And I mean, his head, again, he couldn't play in today's game because he speared. He speared people. But I mean, that it was no way he would have ever broke his neck. He looked like a shark. Like his head and his neck was like a shark head neck. And when he would put that helmet down, yeah, he missed a lot like that too, because he would take his eye off who he's hitting when we got into games. He was vicious in practice, wasn't so vicious in every game. Not like I thought. Because spearing, you could spear back then. Again, you could put your head into somebody's chest and, you know, light them up. That's how we was taught. But people was breaking their necks like that. But yeah, all the games, all sports are spiritual. It's a spiritual aspect because it all comes basically from the hero twins too. You know, that's the hero twins are not scared of fighting the gods or the ghouls. You know, that's the spiritualness about it. It teach you. See how they teach you that David and Goliath is that the giants are the evil ones and that the little ones beat them. You know, that's still that's the Cain and Abel aspect. Instead of trying to work against you, beat the wickedness, attack the wickedness in the world. That is what you get from the hero twins. We gonna fight together. Now Cain and Abel fight each other, jealous of each other. No, we going to get them. And we are ghoul fighters. We reversers of the world. That's how they look at it. They went down and played the game on the ghouls, the underworld ghouls field. And then whooped their ass. And after they whooped their ass, they had to come back up on the ground, play them on their home fields. And it came to us. So that is a great gift that we got. And that is the American gift. So Hammerhead Pete. Yeah, that's what we called it. Before my injury, I was pulling the low 500s at only 6. Wow, that is cool, Mo. That is real cool. That is real cool. Yeah, we called him Hammerhead Pete. We did. That's what we called him. But he could, and he was very feminine, very feminine. This guy that was a monster on the field was he had girlfriends though, but he had funny ways. And I don't mean funny, but it's just like he had a lot of feminine ways. When you saw him, you would be surprised. I mean, not to say he couldn't get mad and whoop somebody's ass, because yeah, very, very much so. But just he was a very feminine kind of dude. And not bad or good, just it surprised. His all field would have surprised you. And he had girlfriends and stuff, but it was just funny. But yeah, he got killed in a card game, is what I heard. Which he wasn't that kind of argumentative dude, but again, when people gamble, you never know. But yeah, that was Hammerhead Pete. And let me tell you, Gilmore came with him, and Gilmore had me crying. So Gilmore said he had a friend. Gilmore. How did he tell? Okay, so Gilmore said he had got the crabs. And he said his friend told him that if he shaved off his hairs and sprayed Raid on there, it would kill the crabs. So he said he shaved them off, he shaved off all his pubes, and then he got the Raid and he yeah. He said the shit hurt so bad he was running down the street naked. He's like, he sprayed that shit on his skin and he's just like, I say he just took off running down the street naked. And he said he didn't stop until he was just exhausted after he sprayed the Raid on his exposed skin. And this is a real country dude from North Carolina. He's telling it in the country twang, but yeah, he said he shaved off his pube hairs and sprayed Raid on them. Yeah, he said he ran till he couldn't run no more. It hurt so bad. Gilmore is now the police chief at I think Guilford College. I think he's the police chief at Guilford College. One time I put Ben Gay on my Johnson. No, I'm gonna tell you, this little nut city, I have capsaicin cream. Okay, and I probably should mix some of this Shungite with the capsaicin cream, but capsaicin cream, you really can't get rid of it. Once you put it on, it's got to wear off because it just keeps getting hotter. And if you start sweating, it keeps getting hotter. So if you keep sweating, it keeps getting hotter. And so, like, I got this, and I told him, I'm like, yeah, don't be careful. Because if you use this, you touch your stuff, it's going to be a minute before you can't wash it off. It is going to just keep be burning. I mean, it takes a lot of washing to wash this shit off. And he's the kind of, Curious George mug. And so he took a handful and just put them on his jewels. And I watched him, and I was like, and I hit my girl, my daughter's mom, I hit her, and I'm like, watch him. So he's sitting there and he's trying to be cool, but you can see when that heat starts, and he's like, he shifted. He's trying to shift, then he shift again, and then he shifted again, and we're just looking at him, and he's like shifting because that heat is heating up down there, and he's just shifted. Finally, he just took off and ran into the shower. We were dying laughing at him because we just like watched him, and he just, when that heat hit, he's like, you can see that first little heat hit them jewels, and he's like, it made him move. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, it stays hot all day. Capsaicin, the longer you sweat, it will keep working, because my daughter's mother, I gave her some for her shoulder, and she's like, it's because I put it on her one time like at 7 o'clock in the morning, and she's like, this stuff is still hot to my back. I'm like, are you sweating? She's like, yeah, well, it's going to keep getting hot. Stop sweating. Because it lasts. You get the new tubes, it lasts a while. But if you sweat, it really will keep going. Yeah, he made a big mistake. Oh yeah, he took off running and took a shower, and he's like, he's like, man, the more I kept soaping it, it kept getting heat. I'm like, I tried to tell you, don't touch yourself but he didn't want to listen. And so you ask him now, will that stuff get hot down there? It'll get hot. So you, like, when I give it to people, I tell them don't, or when I ask people that they might want to use it, I tell them don't touch that stuff, or get some gloves, because that stuff will stay on you. Dish soap kind of helps get it off too, but most regular soaps, it just stays there. It'll last for hours. That's why I like it. Oh, but he was funny. He tried to fight it. You know how bugs want to stay face, and he's like, and we're just sitting there elbowing each other because we kind of looked away, and then we were kind of staring at him on the corner of our eyes, and he's just moving. Then finally he just jumps up and runs downstairs. He's like, look at this. Look at it. Won't listen. Curious George won't listen. So it was funny. It was funny. Some people got to try stuff before they can get into it. You never know. Well, even though Awakened One is a lot better at giving divinations, I will give mine. Oh, here we go. And so we are at 0 day or day 20. 0 day or day 20. However you want to look at it. Here we go. Which is Abu in the Mayan, in his solar mind, solar lord, mastery, realization of solar body, wisdom, knowledge, ability to focus galactic whole, ability to encompass, generate the entire cycle. Energy is coming from the south. And for those of you that would like the fractal, that is the fractal from the Mayans. And the Toltec. The Toltec technically weren't ever beaten by the Spanish. The Spanish made a deal with them that long as they took Catholic names, they would leave them alone. And so you've seen them take the Cortez, the Pedros, those kind of names, and they left them people alone. The people took the names, but they never conquered them. 8 deer, 8 deer, jaguar claw, and 8 wind flint eagle. They never, their people were never conquered. They fought these mugs, and they like finally did a truce. So in this image, we see a Yanni, or spiritual seeker, in alignment with the sun and its sacred task of bringing light into the darkness. We know he's devoted to the sun because the symbol on his chest represents it. In his hands, he carries the reeds of Tula, capital of the ethnic Toltec, representing the clarity that is achieved by cultivating the Tueltol, the Toltec system of arts and science. In his other hand, he carries a thorn of self-sacrifice that represents the efforts and commitment of the spiritual warrior. At the top corners of the card, we see a flower, a heart, which are interchangeable, representing of the spiritual illumination that the character is achieving by following the Toltec Toyoto. Finally, the symbol at the top center is the number 20 in the Mesoamerican numeral system. Shoto has two meanings. The first one is the flowering or something that has been expected for a long time. The second meaning is the vision that comes from heightened awareness. Actually, these two meanings are very related because cultivating heightened awareness in your life brings the flower of what you have been seeking on so long. The blooming of your dreams in your life enhances your awareness. Overall, Shungite is a very positive card. On the first line of interpretation, the flower card is telling you that you have waited enough, but waiting has been passive. You have been nurturing your seed for a long time. You have watered your seed in the proper way. Now you're entering into a very happy period of blooming. Make the best of it because life and the cycles are always changing. The time of the flower is a special moment of well-being, of happiness. How are you going to sustain the happiness of the flowering? How can you make the most of it? This is what the second meaning comes to provide, the equilibrium, the spiritual depth that you need to handle your flowering moment in the best possible way. You need to accompany this with a moment of success of higher awareness that Shungite represents. When you are in the middle of that joy, live it fully, but remind yourself, this will pass. And that's what I was saying with, you were talking about manifesting. You have to understand, even though when things are the best, you have to know that this is not going to always be the best. That's why I'm emphasizing have that exhaust ready, because even in your greatest moment, you have to realize or be thankful for and look back at the road it took you to make it there. So when you are in the middle of that joy, no, I think I passed that. Okay, when you are in the middle of the joy, live it fully, but remind yourself it will pass. Happiness, ask yourself, okay, this happiness and success of today does not guarantee the success of tomorrow. Ask yourself, where's the flowering coming from? How did I manage to get in this magical moment? Is it not just a coincidence? You've learned that it is dedication with two important elements that work together. Your strategic planning and your committed actions on the other hand. Your alliance with the spirit on the other. This realization is very important because it reminds you what it is that you have to do in order to success your external and internal world. And your moment of joy, remember that spirit, make sure that you have time and space to be thankful to keep your connection with the sacred clean. This is why the only way that you can balance your moment of joy and success is when the power experiencing achieving higher awareness. And it's like one of my stories. I catch a touchdown to win the game. Everybody wants to be my buddy and my honey. And I'm leaving. Everybody's eating with me. When we go to dinner, everybody's congratulating me on the way to go to the cafeteria and dinner. We sit and it's so many more people sitting at the table. All of a sudden, I go to leave and I look around. One of my best friends ain't with me. He's still eating. But at the same time, as I'm moving with everybody, he was watching. And he was watching to see if I would invite him in that moment. Because he didn't sit down with us because there was so many other people sitting with us at that moment. But he watched to see how I was acting. And matter of fact, when I looked at him, I'm like, what are you doing? Why are you still sitting there? You see us getting up? And he's like, fuck this food. And he came with us because he wanted to be part of that energy. But he was seeing, was I going to act different to him? Despite the little separation, he wanted to see, was he still my man? Was he still my friend? Could he still bask in the glory? But that's the thing is did this change me? It really didn't change me. My friends were my friends. We didn't do nothing but drink beer and smoke weed, but it's still, he wanted to be part of that. And naturally, he would have been all the time. So that's what you have to keep in mind. Don't enjoy the moment, but then look back at your achievement. Not just the pats on the back. Look back at what it took for you to nurture things. So, yeah, exactly. That was my man. He didn't even eat his food because he had just sat down. Because I think he was behind us when we all rushed through the campus. I think it was just a rush. I had to do an interview with the newspaper. They interviewed me and all this shit. So it took me a minute to keep moving through. I think he just got caught where all of us was moving. He was behind us. He had just sat down. I could see all his food was still on the table, his plate. He's like, fuck this plate. Let's go. That's my man. But yeah, that's how I've always treated people. And my highest high, even when I was a cop. Show you another instance. When I was a cop, one of my boys came in there and he had got arrested. And he was one of the big guys. And I know they got him for some petty stuff because they let him out. But he just hit me like that. And I was like right back at him. Why would I ignore him here? Because he saw me and he's like, what's happening? I'm like, what's happening? I'm not going to ignore you. You my man. And I remember he always, after that, I mean, he always was cool. But we was always cool. I knew him since he was a little boy. I think when I was in 5th grade, this mug was like in 1st or 2nd grade. I mean, he was a little boy when I met him. Little boy, 1st or 2nd grader. I was like in 5th or 6th. It was that far behind me. So it's better to always be in the moment or visualize what you want. Is it better to always be in the moment or visualize? Both. Remember, the book is called Be Here Now. So you have to always be here now. Now, it's nothing wrong with strategizing how you want to position yourself. Like if you put the moves on the chessboard, you ain't moving them. You looking at how you want to put them to counteract how he's going to put them. And then you make so many moves, but it's both. So in chess, you got to do both. You got to visualize where you want to be, but you have to be aware enough where you are. And most of the time, you have to be here now. I have to constantly tell myself that, to be here now, because I can create worlds, and it's not hard to get spacey. But the thing that happens is you can't go back, and if you create too much, you putting it too far in the future. That's one thing I learned from the witch. She's right. You put things, you keep putting it in the future, instead of grabbing it and saying, make this happen right now. You was talking about manifesting. Make it manifest right now. What's the steps to make it manifest? So you got to have a balance of both. Have a balance of both. Have enough imagination to move around when you have to move around. But be grounded enough to, as you moving around, ducking the shit that might come from you moving around. So both. Balance is the key to all life. You have to be balanced. You can't really, and balance ain't just sitting here like this. Balance, sometimes you got to do this, sometimes you got to do that, sometimes you got to do this, sometimes you got to do that. Balance ain't just standing there in the middle. That's not balance. Don't work like that. So if the ship is sinking and everybody got to get to the back of the ship, you go into the back. So you got to consider balance. Balance ain't just standing in the middle like a teeter-totter. That's the only time you can balance like that, is when you're on a teeter-totter. And even as a teeter-totter you're shifting your weight. I don't know if people remember what teeter-totters are. Some people might not have had those. They kind of got rid of them. Because it sucked when a person was bigger than you and you was up top and they jumped off, and then boom, you talking about a jewel crusher. That was a major jewel crusher. Older child would have you up in the air like that, be like, yeah, let's do it. And there, you're just like, yeah, you like the extra weight because it's quicker up and down. And then that bigger child has you up and takes off. Yeah, that'll crush your day. So you got to be, it's balance is not in the middle. So I want to make that a point. That's balance is, so keep that in mind as you find your own balance and the way you deal with everything. I mean, what do they say? You got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. You have to think strategy too. I think people forget that like the moment can be strategic, or strategic moments. I mean, I'm sure some of you can outthink people. Like you have a hater at work and he tries to tell on you or whatever, and you just outthink them. You just outthink them. It's like they trying to do a lot of BS, but you are still thinking. While they're doing BS, you thinking of the next move, where that person shot his shot and they think that's the end. But you are thinking, okay, I'm listening to this bullshit now, but this is how I'm going to do my end run. I'm going to do my end run and be here. And then you do your ear and run, and it's like he didn't even see it coming because he's expected to see you coming this way. You done went it back and around. You done flanked him. You flanked him, and he didn't even see it. So he got blindsided. When you threw your cards down, when you gave the information to the co-worker, the boss, whatever situation, and you threw it down, be like, yeah, you know how you throw, like you got the spades and you slam them down, or you got the domino and you slam it down? Get run their asses. Be like, how you like me now? And give them that smoke. And that's life. That's life. That's life. Sometimes you got to do your current person like that. It's just that's what it might take with them. Sometimes you might have to end round around them because they just like sometimes they don't see it. So you got to make an end run around them sometime. And it's okay, and it's not sneaky. It's just that's what it called for you to be at your best, and maybe your family to be at their best. You have to say, baby, you just didn't see it, so I had to go here. And you see where it ended us? You know, I let you do your thing, but I had to go here. So now we here and things worked out. Look, I said they would work out. So you got to adjust because you kind of broke the thing between me and you. So you made me have to do this move because we got these children here and I can't just, you know, I saw you made the wrong move. So I had to make the right move for both of us. Now I'm sitting here telling you, and I hope you gained it because maybe it ain't meant for us. If you didn't see that this was the right move, because at the time you was blinded by your vision, not the family's vision. So now I've done what's best for you and this family. So how you gonna handle it, baby? I think you read my mind. A lot of people mad that I'm working with the union office now. Hey, that's how it's got to be. It's because they want you positioned and they don't want to see you win. There you go. And that's the thing is you can give up the position, but keep moving because there's always a new position. That's why I throw the little chess thing. It's always a new position. It's always a move. So that's what people think is they think that their move is the only move. It's always another move. Like I was talking about with fighting. I would let a dude hit me because I wanted to counterpunch him. And so I knew, you know, I'm like, okay, plus I want to see how hard you can hit, but I'm waiting to counterpunch you. Because most dudes, when they punch, they think that's the end of the fight. They think one punch is the heavyweight championship, not knowing that you letting them punch you so you can counter them because they open. My boss tried to fuck me, and now I got her boss and me having a meeting this week. She was so scared. She texted me, "Oh wow, that's powerful. That's very powerful." Yes, but that's it. They do want your position, and remember, the positions is always changing. So have the foresight. Again, remember true balance. True balance. Remember that. Oh, guys, I think I'm gonna cut it short tonight. I didn't get much sleep. I got woken up and I didn't go to bed till about 4 in the morning and somebody woke me up about 9. Somebody about 4'10" woke me up and I had been up all day and been able to nap. So still having a little effects. So I'm going to skip the practice tonight. Perhaps I'll do the chocolate sports tomorrow. We'll see how the day goes. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys watching my sports videos. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. I really do, guys. It really means a lot to me. I mean, I lost 3,000 videos, and already I've made 90, almost 100 and some videos. 100 and some videos. I'm only 2 months in. I'm only 2 months in of this new channel, and I've made about 100 videos. I think was what I counted, 105, something like that. And the amount of support, I thank you guys. I appreciate it. So thank you, Valerie. That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to end with Ishan's song. We'll do more exercises next week. Again, I'll be on Thursday morning. Yeah. But I might come on tomorrow afternoon, depending on how busy I get tomorrow. Not sure. So I'm not a New York rapper or LA gangbanger. I'm just an old school Detroit crack slinger. This has been the Chocolate Mountain Show. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate you. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the support. I really do. Because without you, I I don't have any. Why would I do it? But one thing I'll always do true, if it's one person watching or however many number, I will always try to bring it. Till we meet again.